What's going on, you guys? My name is Kyle. I'm a full-time futures trader and founder of Opinicus. In this video, it's actually a clip from a recent trading mentorship group where I'm asked what is the minimum requirement for actually trading a self-funded account, meaning how much money do you need to put into a self-funded account to actually be able to trade even the micros. Now, prop firms are incredibly popular as of late, but ultimately, like I've said many times before, the ultimate goal of a trader is to be in that self-funded environment. You want to be in that personal account, in that kind of self-funded account where you have 100% control and 100% responsibility over your funds. Now, this is kind of the baseline of what I would look for if you want to go the self-funding route. In your opinion, what do you think is a minimum account size needed to self-fund a futures account for optimal long-term trading? That's a good question. It really depends on the broker that you're using. So a lot of the legacy brokers, just some of the brokers that have been around for decades, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, Interactive Brokers, Schwab is in there, Fidelity, like a lot of those older brokers, they have very, very high margin requirements to trade futures. They require full. So with futures, you have initial margin. If you're like looking at margin requirements for futures, what you'll tend to see on websites is initial margin and then day margin. Initial margin is the margin required to hold the future contract overnight. And futures are open 23 hours a day. So you may be thinking, well, what is overnight? Overnight is just the 1 hour period where the futures market is closed. So from 5 to 6 p.m., futures market is closed. That requires your full margin. Day margin is typically going to be a lot less. However, what I was saying is the legacy brokers, the older brokers, will require just the initial margin just to trade at all. And so if you're required to put up, $7,000, $10,000 per one contract on ES or NQ, the leverage aspect is essentially gone, right? That's kind of the primary reason I didn't get into futures much sooner. It's because you could do so much more with options. Options really were the better product, but now you have these brokers, and with the advent of prop firms and things like that, you can get your hands on more contracts and leverage. Now, leverage, of course, is a double-edged sword, but with brokers like TradeOvate, your margin requirements and NinjaTrader, and there's a bunch of them, but I just speak on TradeOvate because that's what I use. Your margin requirements are $500 for ES and $1,000 for NQ. So using those values, I think you can do a lot with a $2,000 to $3,000 account, which historically speaking is as far as like day trading is concerned, is incredibly small. And you don't have to worry about, with futures, you don't have to worry about pattern day trader rule or anything like that. So you can definitely get your hands on some good leverage with relatively speaking a smaller account. Now, if you just want to practice with the micros, $1,000 or whatever, you can certainly get access to those micros, absolutely. But a lot of the times, if you're just, if you have kind of that smaller, like let's say $1,000 or less, and you're just making, $20 here, $30 there, I don't know that is going to be conducive to good trading, because there is that kind of negative emotional impact where you're like, oh, like I don't even care about this, right? Not to say you don't care about $20, but it doesn't feel like you've done anything. So hope that answers it. Kind of a long-winded answer, but TradeOvate or a broker with better margins, and then $3,000 or so is a good kind of starter spot for a self-funded account. trading micros, get the hang of it, make sure your strategy's dialed in. The thing is that there's no reason to really apply size until you actually know how to trade. And that is really what screws a lot of developing traders, is they just come in with size, don't know how to trade yet. And you see all the stats, like so many failures and this and that. And it's like they went about it the wrong way. So